We listen and we don't judge.
Sometimes when I serve dinner, I eat my own meal in the kitchen before plating our dinners, so it looks like we're getting the same amount, but I always get more.
Sometimes I pretend that I have cramps when I'm not in the mood.
I'm not actually allergic to your mom's cat. I just don't like her.
Welcome back. Today we're going deep into the popular social media trend. We listen and we don't judge. I don't know what happened when that camera went off, but that had to be a great conversation. Our next guest, acclaimed author and behavioral scientist Michael Slepian, says that at any given time, the average person is keeping as many as 13 secrets. And for more than a decade, he's been studying the psychology of secrets. In his new book, he reveals not only why we keep them, but how his own experience with a shocking family secret changed his life. The book is called The Secret Life of Secrets. Please welcome Michael Slepian to our show. I love in the book, welcome to the show, you talk about many layers of secrets and how we process and deal with them. And in one chapter, you talk about avoiding conversations. You say one way to keep a secret is to avoid having any conversations related to it. Sometimes, as was the case of Tony Soprano, this is exceedingly easy. You talk about the famous character Tony Soprano from the Sopranos. This trend is interesting because they're not avoiding, people are walking into the burning house to see if it's hot. What do you make of that?
So we all have so many secrets, and we all have very similar secrets, and it can feel very alone to keep the secrets that we're keeping. And you know what's hard about having a secret? We can imagine a world where keeping a secret is not hard, but the reason it's hard to keep a secret is at the end of the day, we want to share it.
Right.
And so we're looking for that perfect time to share it. And I've been there myself. You're waiting for that perfect time. It never comes. And so that's what I love about this trend. It's let's just create the space and do it.
And let's do it. You have a family secret that inspired this.
Yeah.
Tell us.
So I had been studying secrecy for about a year at the time, and I had this big interview for the job that I have now. And you know, you spend weeks for this interview. It's this all-day interview. You spend hours preparing for every single meeting. It's back-to-back meetings. You have this huge talk where you present your research and they grill you for an hour, and it's so intense. And then the meetings continue on, and then you go for dinner, and it's still more being interviewed. And I'm getting a buzz in my pocket, and it's like around midnight, and my dad's calling me, and I'm like, well, I'm still on this interview. I can't pick up the phone. And then he calls me again, and my dad never calls, and he never calls so late at night. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, what's happened? What's happened? Something really bad has happened. And so we finally finish, we get drinks after the dinner. It's been a great day. And I call my dad, I'm in my hotel room. It's now like 12:30 in the morning. And I'm like, what's going on? Right. And he said, Michael, there's something I need to tell you. Maybe you should sit down for this. Wow. And he said, so I have to tell you, I'm not biologically able to have children. I'm not your biological father.
Why did he feel that that was the right time to tell you?
So first of all, I just spent an entire day talking about my research on secret keeping.
Well, at least you were equipped with knowledge of why people...
And so I had two immediate thoughts. Number one, this is okay.
Yeah.
If this is the truth, that's okay. This doesn't change anything. You're still my father, so it's okay. But number two, why are you telling me this?
Right, because it's always the why now. Why are you telling me now?
And why now? And it turned out that my brother found out just a few days before, and they're like, we got to tell Michael too. And very kindly, they said, let's not tell him right before his big interview. Could my dad have waited until the next day? Yeah. But he told me later that day.
It's interesting. Okay, so that family secret made the book, and over the years, more than 50,000 people around the world participated in the research, resulting in what you created. And you write in the book, all people have secrets, but not all secrets are alike. What does that mean?
Yeah, so we all have secrets. We see in our research that the average person's keeping as many as 13 different secrets.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you mine. Don't judge me. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, my mother learned it, to your point about the opening. I had kept this really big secret from my mom. And she says to this day, she tells parents, don't ever say what your child won't do. So I was about 16 years old, and every day I would smuggle out an article of clothing and hide it behind the refrigerator that my dad kept in the garage. And then I snuck off to LA. I told my parents I was around the corner at my girlfriend Arnice's house having a sleepover, and I was a teenager in LA hanging out. My parents thought I was around the corner. And she only learned because we were on the phone, and I said, oh yeah, Beverly Hills is really beautiful. And she said, how do you know? And I was like, okay. And I told her. And so to that day, my mom is like, you can never, ever, ever say what your kid. She thought I was around the corner at Arnice Porter's house, and I was in LA. We'll be right back.